Lamine Yamal doesn't recognise limits. Not of time, not of age, not even of the logic that governs modern football. While other players need years to adapt to the elite level, this kid broke through with the natural ease of someone who seems born for the spotlight. At 16, he was already a starter for FC Barcelona, and at 17, he had already scored in a Clásico, made decisive plays in the Champions League, and conquered the Euros with Spain, becoming the youngest ever to do so. This is not about a future gem. This is not about a promising youngster growing under pressure. Lamine Yamal is already the present, already a real threat, already a headache for coaches around the world. How do you mark a player bold enough to challenge veterans? How do you stop a left footer who thinks faster, executes more precisely, and reacts quicker than everyone else? Every time he steps on the field, he breaks a record. Not because he seeks them, but because his natural talent doesn't fit into traditional frameworks. The youngest to debut for Barca, the youngest to score for Spain, the youngest to start a Clásico, the youngest to win a European Championship. And each one of those achievements came with plays that seemed impossible for a teenager. But Lamine doesn't act like a teenager. He acts like a veteran disguised as a kid. One who dismantles defences, leaves world champions behind, and laughs at statistics. This video is not a summary. It's not a biography either. It's a collection of moments that simply shouldn't have happened. Because when someone this young makes defenders who've spent a decade at the elite level look lost, we can't talk about natural evolution. We have to talk about a phenomenon. We have to talk about Lamine Yamal. Today we'll look back at the 20 times Lamine broke football, the moments where he exposed an opponent, shattered a record, changed the course of a match, a season, or even an entire narrative. Because if there's one thing this kid born in 2007 has made clear, it's that he came to write his own legend without asking for permission. April the 29th, 2023 was no ordinary date for FC Barcelona. That day, a baby-faced kid with ice-cold eyes shattered one of the club's longest-standing traditions, respecting the timing of a player's development. Lamine Yamal, just 15 years, 9 months, and 16 days old, became the youngest player ever to debut for Barca in an official La Liga match. He hadn't played a single minute for Barca Athletic. He hadn't played in a big stadium. His debut was, literally, at Camp Nou against Real Betis, in front of thousands of people. No nerves, no fear, as if he'd been waiting for that moment for years. Until then, Ansu Fati held the record at 16 years and 9 months. But Lamine didn't just beat it by nearly a year, he changed the club's entire narrative. It was no longer enough to shine in the Juvenile A or the reserves. Now there was a new standard, one he himself had set from his very first touch of the ball, because he didn't just step onto the pitch, he nearly scored, disoriented the defence, and delivered a pass to Dembélé that even the Frenchman didn't see coming. The most ironic part came afterward.
Es el jugador más joven en la historia del Barcelona Athletic en debutar, así que momento histórico, ahí está, ingresa Lamine Yamal.
Just 1 week later, Yamal made his debut for Barca Athletic. In other words, he played for the first team before ever playing for the reserves, as if the natural order of the universe had reversed for a few days. And what did that lead to? The club, the fans, the media. Everyone started searching La Masia for the next Lamine, not realising that Lamine isn't a mould, he's an anomaly. And that's the real point we're going to explore today. It's not just about records, viral highlights, or precocious numbers. It's about how a teenager is forcing the entire football world to rethink everything, from how young players are developed to when they should be unleashed. Lamine Yamal doesn't just break defenders, he breaks ideas, he changes the discourse, he raises the standard to a level unreachable for most. The Joan Gamper Trophy has always been more than just a friendly. It's a statement of intent. It's the first glimpse into the soul of the new Barca every season. In 2023 to 2024, the opponent was Tottenham, and that night's script felt like a premonition. Barca started poorly, weak in defence, no clear ideas in attack, and already losing 1-2 within the first 10 minutes. It seemed like a disappointing start. And honestly, it was an exact preview of the season ahead. A team struggling to win, a fragile defence, and a 17-year-old kid stepping up to save the team. Lamine Yamal, freshly 16 years old, came onto the pitch and turned chaos into pure spectacle. On his very first touch, literally the first time he touched the ball, he delivered a surgical pass to Ferran Torres for the 2-2 equaliser. But that was just the beginning. In the following minutes, he completely destroyed Tottenham's defence. His change of pace was so brutal it left Reguilón injured, cramping up while trying to keep up with him. This isn't a figure of speech. It actually happened. Reguilón literally pulled a muscle trying to chase him. Right after that play, Barca's third goal came, scored by Ansu Fati. But once again, everything had started with the danger Lamine created. And just to top it all off, he still had time to create the play that led to Barca's fourth goal, sealing the 4-2 win in this pre-season debut. In just 10 minutes, Lamine Yamal had rescued Barcelona, secured the win, and proved that he wasn't some marketing, product, or overhyped youngster. He was pure reality. And the craziest part, this incredible moment only ranks at number 19. 2023 to 2024 season. Barca was in crisis. Xavi had already announced his resignation after that painful 5-3 loss to Villarreal.
Que el 30 de juny no seguiré com a entrenador del Barça. És una decisió... Hem estat parlant ara amb el president, amb Rafa Yuste, amb Alejandro Echeverría, amb Deco i amb part de l'estaf. Crec que la situació mereix un canvi de rumb i com a culer no puc permetre aquesta situació. Crec que ha arribat al punt d'anunciar-ho públicament, així ho tenia decidit ja fa uns dies, però crec que és el moment. Tal com han anat les circumstàncies, crec que el club necessita un canvi de dinàmica.
That match was a breaking point for the squad emotionally and for the fans, confirmation that things were falling apart. The team was sitting third in La Liga, far from the top, and every game exposed more cracks in the defence, more disconnections, and a clear lack of leadership. Then came match day 24, facing Granada, second to last in the table. It seemed like the perfect chance to bounce back, but football doesn't follow logic when there's no soul on the pitch. Barca started well. Juan Cancelo delivered a surgical pass, and Lamine Yamal, playing like he had 10 years of experience, calmly finished to make it 1-0. Minute 14, it looked like it would be a quiet afternoon, but no, like so many times that season, the defence collapsed.
Atención al golazo, Pellistri que acaba de poner la pelota en el primer palo.
Granada equalised before half-time and made it 1-2 in the 59th minute. Just 3 minutes later, Lewandowski tied it up with rage. But the roller coaster wasn't over. Granada struck again in the 65th to go up 3-2. The atmosphere in Montjuic was pure frustration. And then, once again, Lamine flipped the script. In the 79th minute, he pressed high, stole the ball near the box, calmly set himself and drilled a left-footed shot to the near post. Goal, 3-3. The stadium erupted, not just because of the goal, but because this 16-year-old was doing what the veterans couldn't, carrying the team on his back. Barca didn't win that night, but they didn't lose either. A teenager saved them. And at that moment it was clear, Lamine wasn't a future star anymore. He was Barca's best offensive weapon. And it wasn't a one-time thing. From match day 3 of that same season, Lamine Yamal was already starting matches and making an impact. In a thrilling clash against Villarreal at just 16 years old, he was a serious threat. Just 11 minutes in, he assisted Gavi with a perfect play, showing that his vision was way beyond his years. But again, the game went off script. Villarreal came back and took a 3-2 lead. Barca looked completely lost. Once again, Lamine stepped up. He hit the crossbar twice in a row with a level of intensity and determination that fired up the entire team. Every move he made was a wake-up call. Thanks to that spark, Barca managed to turn it around and win 4-3. In the post-match press conference, Xavi was clear.
Sí. Las expectativas son muy grandes, ¿no? Y más porque es lo que se ve. Al final va de titular no por capricho del entrenador. Va de titular porque le vemos capaz de marcar diferencias, es un jugador diferencial, es listo, elige bien y lo más importante en el fútbol, que la toma de decisión casi siempre es la correcta. Eso es lo más importante en un jugador de fútbol. Y la toma de decisión de Lamine Yamal es casi siempre correcta y buena. Y muchas veces es la mejor, con 16 años. Por lo tanto, hoy no sé si ha dado 2 o 3 asistencias pues bueno, pues para mí extraordinario.
These two moments, happening just a few match days apart, confirmed a fascinating but uncomfortable truth. Despite all their millions and stars, Barca was emotionally and tactically depending on a kid who, game after game, didn't just show up. He dominated. There are goals you celebrate wildly, and there are goals you just watch in silence, because they're pure art. In the 2023 to 2024 season, Lamine Yamal scored the first of many top corner wonder goals. But this goal, made the world realise he wasn't a promise. He was a phenomenon. The stage was sans moi in a tough match against Mallorca. Barca couldn't break the deadlock until the ball fell to Lamine, and as if he'd done it 1,000 times, he controlled it, positioned himself, and with surgical precision, curved it into the top corner. Impossible for the keeper. 3 points. A genius goal. That 1-0 win put Barca back into second place in La Liga. But more importantly, it woke up the world to a new superstar. From that moment on, defenders feared every time Lamine got the ball near the box, because they knew he had a shot you simply can't stop. The 2024 to 2025 season was also the year Lamine helped Barca exercise some of their demons. One of them was Villarreal, who had embarrassed them months earlier. This time, Barca struck back with a crushing 5-1 win at La Ceramica. And of course, Lamine shined again, but not with goals, with assists. For the first time, we saw his signature move, the outside foot pass, a skill straight out of Ronaldinho's playbook. That perfect pass to Rafinha was just the start. Months later, against Mallorca, he did it again. Another 5-1, another outside foot assist, again to Rafinha. It was no longer a coincidence, it was part of his natural toolkit. In a world where football is becoming more mechanical, watching a player with this kind of creativity and flair was a breath of fresh air. Soon it became routine. Every match was another chance to witness something we'd never seen before. Because with Lamine, football became completely unpredictable. Before the 2024 to 2025 season even started, Lamine Yamal had already stunned the world. From Germany, the 2024 Euros became his international breakout. There, the kid who had just started at Barcelona became the youngest player ever to appear in a Euro match, 16 years and 338 days old, when he took the field against Croatia. And as if that wasn't enough, he broke a second record the same night, youngest player ever to deliver an assist in the tournament's history. But Lamine wasn't there just to make headlines. He was there to rewrite history. Match after match, he kept adding assists and brilliant performances all the way to the final. And there, once again, he did the unthinkable. Assisted in a Euro final at just 17 years old. He became the youngest player ever to play and leave his mark in a continental final. In total, he delivered 4 assists during the tournament, finishing as the top playmaker of Euro 2024. His vision, his patience, his ability to place the ball exactly where it needed to be. There was no one like him. He won the award for best goal of the tournament, which we'll talk about later, and was named Best Young Player of the Euros. At that point, there was no more debate. The world had found its new heir. His name was Lamine Yamal. By now, Lamine Yamal wasn't just a revelation, he was a constant nightmare for every defender in world football. 2024 to 2025 season, Copa del Rey round of 16 against Betis. That night, Lamine played one of the most complete matches of his career. Every time he touched the ball, Betis' defence panicked. His assist to Koundé to open the scoring was pure fantasy. Then another spectacular assist to Koundé was cancelled due to a very debatable offside call, but it was clear Betis had no idea how to stop him. In the second half, they disallowed a stunning volley goal from him with his right foot, even though he's left-footed, but the best was yet to come. In the 57th minute, Lamine created a play straight out of a video game. Dribble, speed, perfect pause, vision. A body feint that made you feel like Messi was back on the pitch, ending with a goal by Rafinha. And of course, he put the final stamp on it by scoring the 5th goal, with yet another spectacular finish. He closed the game with 1 goal, 2 assists, and at least 3 more plays that could have easily been goals. That match wasn't just a showcase, it was a masterclass on how to destroy a defence with pure class. Lamine Yamal isn't just a La Liga or Euro wonder. He's also shown his magic on the biggest club stage in football, the Champions League. And he's done it like a veteran with 30 years of experience, not a teenager who's just 17. In the 2024 to 2025 group stage, Barcelona landed in the same group as Bayern Munich, a team that had haunted Barca for years. But this time, the fear changed sides. From his very first touch, Lamine humiliated Alphonso Davies. The Canadian, known as one of the fastest fullbacks in the world, simply couldn't handle Lamine's changes of pace, footwork and impossible turns. Lamine slipped through tiny spaces like he was playing in his backyard. His technical superiority was so obvious that the second Barcelona goal came directly from his wing, when Lewandowski finished to make it 2-1, a crucial goal for Barca. And just minutes later, Lamine delivered the knockout blow, a perfect assist to Rafinha, who scored his hat-trick against Bayern.
Yamal, rápido para Rafinha, mal parada la saga del Bayern de Múnich, atención, se puede venir el cuarto, el remate, gol, ¡gol! Del Barcelona!
But Lamine's dominance wasn't limited to just one giant. Against Borussia Dortmund, he stepped up once again, a perfectly timed through ball to Ferran Torres, who calmly slotted it home for a 3-2 win. The play was so precise it felt like it was happening in slow motion. Lamine thought 2 steps ahead of everyone, using intuition, patience, spatial awareness and flawless execution. And if we're talking about pure decisiveness, his performance against Atalanta can't be ignored. From the opening whistle, he controlled the right side like it was his personal playground. Then, in the 46th minute, he broke the game open, taking the ball past the keeper and scoring with total composure, literally walking it into the net. A cold-blooded finish that proved just how calm and fearless he is in big moments. By this point, it wasn't just about shining in the group stage. This was now the Champions League at its most brutal, where stars are separated from legends. In the first leg of the quarter-finals against Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona needed a statement win to prove their project was real. And once again, Lamine Yamal was the spark that ignited everything. From the very first minute, he tore Dortmund apart down the right flank. Driving runs, quick cuts inside, 1-2s with Pedri and Rafinha. The German defence had no answer, but it wasn't just for show, he made it count on the scoreboard. Lamine delivered a perfect, delicate pass between the lines to Rafinha, slicing open the defence and leaving him one-on-one with the keeper. Rafinha didn't miss, and Lewandowski eventually finished the play for the team's second goal. But it all started with Lamine's vision. Then, to cap the night off, Lamine scored himself, receiving the ball at the edge of the box, controlling it calmly, and finishing coolly with the tip of his left boot as the keeper came out. A beautiful goal, simple, cold, and technically perfect. Showing confidence far beyond his age, that goal was Barca's fourth of the night. With it, Lamine secured a crushing 4-0 victory and became the youngest player ever to reach 20 Champions League appearances. Another record, another brick in the monument he's building. But before all that, he had already gifted us an unforgettable work of art. It was in the second leg of the round of 16 against Benfica at the Estadio Olímpico de Montjuic. Yamal lit up the stands again with a shot that looked straight out of a cartoon. From outside the box with a poetic curve, the ball floated perfectly into the top corner, freezing the entire stadium. It wasn't a powerful shot, it was a caress with his left foot. A true artist's goal, one that didn't need violence, just perfection. And it didn't end there. Barely 10 minutes into the match, he invented an assist that left the world speechless. Surrounded by 4 Benfica players, he pulled out a series of short feints and direction changes that left everyone rooted to the turf. It looked like something from a video game. He left all defenders frozen and played a perfectly measured pass to Rafinha, giving him all the time and space to finish first time. Pure magic that reminded everyone of Messi breaking ankles on a weekly basis. In every tale of greatness, there's always a recurring enemy, a rival that forces the hero to bring out their very best. For Lamine Yamal, that rival has a name: Atlético de Madrid. But this season, it wasn't an even fight. It was a continuous display of superiority by the prodigy over the Colchoneros. In the 3 matches they faced each other, Lamine simply destroyed them with his football. No exaggeration. It all started in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals. Atletico came out aggressively and succeeded. Within 15 minutes they were up 2-0 and Barca looked to be on the brink of collapse. But then Lamine Yamal appeared as the catalyst for the miracle. He received the ball on the right wing, burned his marker with speed and delivered a precise pass to Jules Koundé, who assisted Pedri for the 2-1. That was the emotional spark. Barca woke up. Within minutes they were leading 3-2. But that wasn't all. In the 74th minute, Lamine once again broke into the box, evaded 2 defenders with a mix of agility and boldness, and set up Lewandowski, who tapped it in to score the 4th. Although the match ended 4-4, Lamine's performance was the driving force behind Barca's comeback. The story didn't end there. On match day 28 of La Liga, Atletico tried once again to stop him. Barca were down 2-0 and seemed headed toward disaster again. But, as if written in the stars, the team reacted. First with a screamer from Lewandowski, then a powerful header from Ferran Torres. And with the clock at minute 90 and the Camp Nou holding its breath, Lamine fired a venomous shot from outside the box. It deflected off a defender and hit the back of the net. 3 points. La Liga lead. And once again, Lamine writing the final chapter, and then came the final blow. In the second leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals, with Barca needing to close out the series, Lamine wasted no time showing who owned the tie. In the 26th minute, he froze everyone with a surgical through ball, perfectly placed at Ferran Torres' feet, who finished for the 1-0 that sealed Barca's spot in the final. And Lamine was, without debate, the man responsible. There are players who disappear in big matches, and there are others who define them. Lamine Yamal belongs to that second group. When the stage is biggest, when the rivals are toughest, when the trophy is on the line, he shows up. The Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid was full of history, tension and pride. In the 28th minute of the first half, Lamine charged down the right, took on 4 Madrid defenders with fearless dribbling, and in the middle of the chaos found an impossible gap. With a genius pause, he delivered a perfect cutback to Pedri, who didn't hesitate. Powerful shot, goal, 1-0 for Barca. The goal was born from Lamine's vision, confidence and surgical precision. But Madrid responded. In the second half, the Blancos came back with 2 goals that set off alarm bells. The game seemed lost, but once again Lamine stepped up. In the 83rd minute, he played a through ball behind Rudiger with surgeon-like precision. Ferran Torres controlled it, rounded Courtois and scored the 2-2 equaliser. Another heroic moment from the kid who refuses to lose. In extra time, when legs fail and only heart remains, Barca found the final blow. In the 117th minute, Jules Koundé struck from outside the box and sealed the win. Goal, victory, trophy. But everyone knew what really happened. Without Lamine, that trophy wouldn't be at Camp Nou. Because beyond stats, his emotional, tactical and psychological impact was key. He was the one who broke lines, who never hid, who pushed the team when they were falling apart. Although this entry isn't about what Lamine did on the field, it's important to recognise his mindset off it. After winning the Copa del Rey final, Lamine Yamal explained why they won. His mentality is insane for someone his age. Later, Madrid fans called him arrogant, claimed fame was going to his head, and accused him of being cocky.
Alguien le tendrá que decir, mira, muchacho, por ahí no vas bien. Porque efectivamente, como muchos madridistas le decían a Ana, este chico no ha ganado nada. Tú decías una Eurocopa. Bien, a nivel de clubes, este chico no ha ganado nada, es un recién llegado.
Una Supercopa, una Copa del Rey.
Una Supercopa.
He was even questioned during a press conference before the semi-final first leg against Inter. And Lamine responded like a veteran with incredible maturity.
Mientras gane, no me pueden decir nada. Cuando me ganen, sí.
Throughout football history, one lesson always repeats: never underestimate true talent. And Lamine Yamal has carried that weight since his debut. Criticism, comparisons, doubts. No matter how many assists he delivered, how many dribbles he completed, or how many records he broke, there were always people questioning him. But the world should have learned by now. Lamine doesn't answer with words. Lamine answers with goals. And one of the clearest examples came in Euro 2024. Before the semi-final against France, Adrien Rabiot arrogantly threw a jab at him in a press conference.
Mais je pense que ce sera à nous de lui mettre la pression surtout, voilà, d'être là, de lui montrer que de ne pas le laisser dans le confort et que pour pouvoir jouer une finale d'Euro, il faudra en faire bien plus que ce qu'il a fait jusqu'à présent.
Big mistake, because just minutes later, the 16-year-old made history with one of the most spectacular goals ever seen in the tournament. He received the ball near the final third, faced Rabiot directly, and with one sharp feint, made him spin like he was chasing a ghost. Then, without hesitation, he unleashed a rocket left-footed strike that curled into the top corner of France's goal. A goal that not only sent Spain to the final, but also earned the award for Euro 2024 Goal of the Tournament. A message without words: don't talk, watch me play. But if anyone has been relentless with Yamal, it's the conservative Spanish media, the infamous caverna mediática, that always tries to find flaws where there are none. One of their favourite talking points was that Lamine didn't score enough, that he wasn't decisive. They mocked him. They repeated it over and over.
Su reto cuando sale al campo no es hacer gol. Ese no es el reto suyo. El reto suyo es divertirse, hacer las cosas como lo hace, ser un jugador protagonista, y en ese sentido yo creo... Yo si estuviera en su lugar, también me molestaría que en todas las preguntas me dijeran eso.
Until the Supercopa de España final arrived. Mbappé, on one of his best nights, opened the scoring with a great finish. Madrid was already celebrating, but Lamine wouldn't allow it. He entered Messi mode.
Venga, Antonio, lo tenemos cerca. Lamine continúa, Lamine. ¡Gol!
Who says he doesn't score? There are matches that don't just define a season, they get engraved in the collective memory as modern football epics. And in matchday 35 of La Liga 2024-25, the second Clásico between Barcelona and Real Madrid was exactly that, a battle for the soul of the championship. Madrid needed a win to stay alive in the title race. Barca came in with a points cushion, and having won the previous 3 Clásicos with clear football superiority, still, it felt like whoever won would take a decisive step toward the league title. Montjuic fell silent early on. Kylian Mbappe, on fire, scored twice in the first 15 minutes. Madrid was a storm. Barca's defence couldn't contain the French superstar, and the match was turning into a Barca tragedy. But then came the spark. Eric Garcia, with a lethal header from a corner, made it 1-2, and Montjuic erupted. That's when Lamine Yamal stepped up once again. A brilliant goal. The equaliser. Madrid couldn't believe it, and Barca caught fire. That goal didn't just tie the game, it unleashed a Blaugrana storm. In just 15 minutes, Barca completed the comeback. 4 goals in half an hour, a classico for the history books. The second half was more contained, but the damage was done. Barcelona won 4-3 at Montjuic, practically sealing the league title. And once again, it all started with the unstoppable spark of Lamine Yamal. The Champions League demanded another step up, and Barcelona delivered. After 6 years away from the semi-finals, Barca was finally back among Europe's elite. Their opponent, Inter Milan, managed by Simone Inzaghi, the best defensive team on the continent. A tactical wall built to survive football wars, but facing them was the hardest player to contain one-on-one, Lamine Yamal. And if you don't believe it, just ask Inter themselves.
Il giocatore più difficile che ha affrontato in Champions, Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal. Yamal. Yamal.
From the first minute, Lamine was a dagger down the right wing. DiMarco, a very reliable fullback, was turned into a training cone. Lamine beat him again and again and again. Inter jumped ahead 2-0 thanks to their lethal counters. But you could feel Barca wasn't dead, because Lamine wasn't done yet. And then he spoke. Oh, did he speak. A stunning goal.
Lamine!
One of those goals that aren't just celebrated, they get burned into football memory. That was the turning point. Lamine lit up Barca. The match finished 3-3 in an offensive festival, but most importantly it was clear Inter had no way to stop Lamine Yamal. Not one-on-one, not with double marking, not with tactical adjustments. After the game, Simone Inzaghi could do nothing but praise him.
Ha creato tanti problemi Yamal, che chiaramente è un talento che nascono ogni 50 anni, dei talenti così non l'avevo mai visto dal vero, l'ho visto stasera per la prima volta e ci ha creato problemi, l'abbiamo raddoppiato, triplicato, poi ci mancavano giocatori da altre parti del campo. Una semifinale qui a Barcellona giocata in questo modo è un motivo di grande orgoglio e come ho detto che Yamal è un fenomeno che nasce ogni 50 anni, vorrei fare anche un plauso.
Ranking numero dos, Periquitos. The final page of this story had to be written on a symbolic stage, the RCDE Stadium. The Catalan derby between Espanyol and Barcelona wasn't just a local rivalry, it was the perfect opportunity to seal the league title at the home of their city rivals. The match was tight. Espanyol, playing for pride, fought for every ball like it was life or death. Joan Garcia, the best goalkeeper of the entire Spanish season, miraculously held onto the draw. But then the script repeated itself, because if there's been one constant in Barca's glorious season, it's Lamine Yamal. Lamine created yet another masterpiece. He controlled, feinted, and unleashed a top corner shot. Joan Garcia stretched fully, but there was no stopping that work of art. This was the goal that lit the championship party. After a long, epic season, it crowned Barcelona as La Liga champions.
El Madrid a medio gas, no, te lo adelanto. El Madrid a medio gas a este Barça le va a pintar la Liga en cara. En la cara. Luego en la Champions, se puede ver. Pero en la Liga el Madrid tiene mucha más solvencia que el Barcelona. Muchísima más. Y es algo que entiendo que os duela y tenéis ahí ácido. Y ha empezado la locomotora y la maquinaria de sale la Porta, sale Flick y sale el capitán. Si lo sabemos, no nos dejan ganar, es la Liga, es Tebas que es madridista, o sea que ni se habla con el Madrid, o sea es todo.
Those were the words from Madrid media as the season neared its end. And yes, starting from match day 11, Barca had humiliated Madrid in every matchup. It all began in the season's first Clásico at the Bernabeu, a moment that reshaped the European football landscape. Madrid had just signed Mbappe. All of Europe was talking about a new Real Madrid dynasty, but Barca came out unstoppable. Lewandowski scored twice in the second half, and to pour gasoline on the 2-0 lead came Barca's third. A missile into the top corner with his right foot. A video game goal, a goal that froze the Bernabeu. But what came next was even more brutal. Lamine ran to the stands and celebrated like Cristiano Ronaldo. Silence, shock, pain. That goal wasn't just a taunt, it was a declaration of war. It told the world, I'm in charge here. It placed him in Barca's pantheon of Bernabeu legends, alongside Ronaldinho's double, Messi's hat-trick, the iconic 2017 shirt celebration, and the immortal 2011 goal. That day, Lamine didn't just beat Madrid, he scarred them forever. And that's how this list ends, with a kid playing like a legend, a left-footed magician who has turned the football world upside down. Lamine Yamal has broken football and rebuilt it in his own image and talent.